Hello again. Welcome to SEC Baseball Predictions. I'm your host, Chris Lee, joined by Graham Doty and Jay Greason. We have already done separate videos for Auburn and Ole Miss and also Tennessee and Arkansas. So in this one, we're going to be doing the series in this order, the remaining six. Texas A&M at Georgia, Alabama at Florida, Kentucky at Vanderbilt, LSU at South Carolina, Mississippi State at Missouri, and Texas at Oklahoma, because they are listed on the SEC schedule that way. That is how we roll. Anyway, we'll get into pitching matchups, everything else, and give you predictions. But first, a reminder to help out the folks who help our show. That is Cherubundi. If I go on a run today, it's hit and miss right now as we're doing our prep for baseball weekend. But I try to get in a run most days. And when I do, I pop one of these first. It's Cherubundi. Because you know what that does? That helps me with soreness and recovery later. If I don't have those, when I go to Hoover next week and run, I'm going to take these. They're the pouches that you can dump into water. And if you don't have that, you can also do the gummies. Those are just cherry tart gummies. They also have those with melatonin so you can sleep at night. Pretty much everybody who's everybody in the NCAA, NFL uses this stuff. It's great. Use it yourself. Go to cherubundi.com. Use promo code SE20 to get 20% off your entire order, and you can thank us later. All right, gentlemen, let's start with Texas A&M at Georgia. Georgia has been a nightmare to beat at Foley Field. Speaking of nightmares, boy, did A&M have one at home last weekend. But this is a team that's played pretty well on the road. God only knows what is going to show up this weekend in Athens. Any guesses, guys?
This honestly, Graham, I think could be a sweep either direction because, and maybe there's no series in the league, especially with some juggled pitching staffs, that game one is more important because A&M's probably backed into a corner that they feel like they need to sweep to get back on the proper side of the bubble, and they lose game one. Whoever wins game one, man, oh man. A&M looks the part of a team that's about to pack it in.
By the way, I forgot to announce the pitching matchups. Meant to do that. A&M will go Ryan Prager, Justin Lampkin, Miles Patton, as it has gone all year, all lefties. Georgia will go Charlie Goldstein, who'll be more of an opener than a starter in game one. Brian Curley, game two. Leighton Finley, game three. Carry on.
I think I know what I saw in College Station over last weekend. If they swept Georgia and Athens, I would it takes a lot to surprise me. That would really surprise me and raise my eyebrows. I just think Georgia will just be too much in Athens. They're going to be locked in, happy to be home, but they want to wrap up the regular season on a positive note. Texas A&M, I just kind of think, they know their path to the NCAA tournament. They gotta make the run of all runs in Hoover, Alabama next week. So that's a big reason why I'm picking Georgia. They're tough to beat at Athens anyway, but they're catching Texas A&M at the right time. Give me Georgia to take at least 2 out of 3, and a sweep in Georgia's favor would not surprise me.
Well, sadly, as I'm looking to, all right, can I catch him this week?
I haven't looked at the numbers. I'll do it today. I think you can though, but I was in the next state over with a big league, and then here comes Chris. He's crossing state lines, so he's making a run. He and Alfred are tied. I do remember that.
I have a chance.
Hold on, let me pull it up
because this is news to me. Well, while you're pulling it up, I'm going to tell you something else. Okay, I wonder, did A&M quit last week? Did it lose confidence? I don't know what happened. Now it can get it back. We remember what happened. A&M got no hit in Knoxville on a Friday night, looked awful, and then came back and just smoked Tennessee the next 2 games. That's on the table, but I'm more concerned that happened at the end of the season. And I will tell you this, throw that stuff out, throw out all the guessing of who's going to show up. Here's something. Georgia's lineup is almost entirely right-handed heavy. And Georgia, boy, does that team have some right-handed power. The problem for A&M, and I haven't looked at the splits, but generally righties hit lefties better. And A&M goes lefty, lefty, lefty in its rotation. And here's another thing, guys. If you're A&M, you sweep the series and then you got a shot as in at large without having to make a run in Hoover or win the thing. If it goes wrong for A&M early, your only shot is going to be to win in Hoover. Do you then start resting Lampkin, Patton, maybe just throw some guys out there, say we're taking our chances to be 100% for Hoover? I don't know. That would be unusual, but I'm just going to put that out there. I'm taking Georgia in this series, and I'm taking Georgia without hesitation.
I need some stats.
I think I got a 5-game lead right now.
Okay.
Over Chris.
So you better pick Georgia then.
So am I last?
I think you're ahead of Alfred. Alfred was like me. Last week was not a good one. Auburn was my only success last week.
Well, that's technically last. I mean, because it's my understanding that the categories are mustachioed pickers and then non-mustachioed pickers. So we know Alfred's going to win the mustachioed picker confrontation. If I can't even make it up I'm taking A&M. Screw it.
Oh my.
No.
It is burying himself.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Don't
Going
do
against
that
my
to
rule
yourself.
of the year that you're picking against Georgia and Foley Field. And you know why? Because I'm Ricky Bobby. And second place is the first loser. All right? Here I go.
You remember what his dad said later in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can finish second, you can finish third. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, but third in the 4-team race is DFL, bro. And don't make the Bobcat get in the front seat of my pickup truck with me, all right? I mean, come on, don't be that.
I'm just picturing you driving around town in Chattanooga with a giant picture of your face on the hood of your car with me.
I already have.
Just like you already have.
I told you that if I come into money the last time we convened, that I'm going to get a giant Jay Greason head coming out of the concession stand of the Little League ballpark that I coached in every time somebody hits a home run. Why would you not think I have the 45 me on the hood of the F-150?
Well, we're a series in and we're off the rails, which at least tells me where this is going, which might be helpful. Next, we will go to Florida. Guys, I think this is the series of the weekend for all of them. I think it's the one that I'm most fascinated with. You've got Tyler Fay, Riley Quick, Zane Adams for Alabama in that order, which is the order that Alabama has been going with for a while. You're seeing some teams flip guys today. You're seeing guys stick with the order. That is what Alabama is doing here. Florida, Liam Peterson, Pierce Coppola in the 2. That's different. And then Aiden King in game 3. Both these teams playing exceptionally well, guys. What are your thoughts on this one?
I was on the fence on this one, and then just kind of watching interviews and doing reading this morning, like the game notes and just different articles building up to this series, and doing all that makes me want to pick Florida. A big reason why Alabama struggles historically against Florida, but also in Gainesville. Florida has won 18 of the last, or rather they've won 23 of the last 26 against Alabama. Alabama has not won a series in Gainesville since 1999. So it's been a minute. Like, a lot of the guys on the team weren't even born yet, like been that kind of a minute. So like Justin LeBron was not in the picture yet, so it's been that long. So I'm taking Florida because they are just on a different level right now. Like, they are on fire. Can't wait to hear what Jay has to say.
You pissed him off.
One thing I will say, injury report, it's pretty brutal for the Gators this week. One of those being Colby Shelton. You know, when he went out, like, he was leading the SEC in doubles. So he's unavailable, at least for this first game. Cade Curlin is also out. Alabama has everybody dressed, ready to go. So if that impacts your decision, but I'm still going with the Gators. Just what a turnaround. I feel like nobody's really touched on it quite enough since starting 1-11 this season. Kevin O'Sullivan in Florida, they've gone 13-2 down the stretch.
Man, with hurt guys too. Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. I've now got to reboot my philosophy. Jackass. I think Alabama's getting healthy. I think Alabama doesn't have to apologize for its rotation against the great Florida rotation. And I think Alabama's going to be every bit as motivated, considering they're in that swing area of hosting, not hosting. Could we get to a regional? Could we get to a national seed conversation? And I know Florida is in that same spot, as red hot as they've been, could conceivably be a regional in Gainesville. But my biggest swing factor is here comes the 45 me truck. I mean, I'm coming. Give me Alabama. Take 2 or 3.
Yeah, Florida's been a juggernaut lately. Alabama's getting power back from Justin LeBron and playing really well. Adams and Quick have been consistent. I think, to me, and Tyler Fay has been okay in that opener role. But, I mean, Liam Peterson's one of the best around. Aiden King now might be your best 3 in the league pitching out of that. And it's been a year for some good threes. This could be one of these series where Alabama outscores Florida in the series. Especially with Quick on the mound in Game 2 against Coppola, who just can't stay healthy, but loses the series. I'm going to go Florida winning games 1 and 3, and Alabama taking the middle. Which leads us to Kentucky at Vanderbilt. I think I'll be in the ballpark for some or all of that one here in Nashville. Here are your rotations. Nate Harris for Kentucky, who's been in that one for a while, is kind of an opener. The Cats are again going Nick McKay in Game 2 and Ben Cleaver in Game 3. Vanderbilt has thrown everybody a little bit of a curveball. Austin Nye, who is their midweek starter and has been that pretty much all year, who's been outstanding. He's got a 2.03 ERA, and he is very talented. He is going to pitch his first inning in SEC play, and he's going to do it to open the Thursday night. J.D. Thompson has slid to the Game 2, and Cody Bowker stays in the rotation at Game 3. That means Connor Fennell now will pitch out of a swing role instead of in that number 3 position. Guys, what do you think here? You got 2 very similarly matched teams in Vanderbilt and Kentucky in terms of offensive style and pitching depth.
I guess before we start, Chris, how much of an impact Jacob Humphrey is listed as questionable for Vandy? How much of an impact, if any, is that for you?
I mean, it having Jacob Humphrey really helps them, but they have played without him for the majority of the last 3 weekends and still played pretty well.
I guess my question, though, before we get into it, is this more of an indictment on Colin Fennell or a praise to the Nye kid about their juggling their rotation?
I think it might have something to do with the SEC tournament, potentially. In terms of you're going to have to throw guys next week, and also because Nye's an elite arm, guys. Like, that's a guy that, like, if he doesn't get hurt and misses senior year of high school, he's probably already pitching professionally. So I think it may be a time to see what you can get before you get to the postseason. Can you trust it against, an SEC regional type team? I don't know if that's what went into it. I think with Fennell too, he is such a different guy. To bring him in as a change of pace, say between a J.D. Thompson and maybe a Chris McIlvain at the end, you go guys that are dealing mid-90s to high 90s to a guy that won't touch 90, and it's a different arm angle and everything. To me, that's just let's reserve the right to use this piece in different places because it's a piece you're not going to see, and it's going to look differently than the last time, the last guy you saw in the batter's box.
So do you think we'll see Fennell in the tournament, Game 1 for Vandy? Is that what you're thinking?
No idea.
Okay.
I like the thought process, and for God's sakes, Tim Corbin's forgotten and regurgitated more baseball knowledge than I'll ever have. But I like the idea of using him in game as a change of pace, as opposed to somebody starting a game knowing that he's going to come up there at 78 to 83 with most of his stuff. And in the preparation, I mean, they still know what he's got. It's Dairy Queen. It's soft serve only, but it is. What? Come on, guys.
That's not wrong.
That's not even like the fifth funniest thing I've said today.
Yeah.
But I think that in having a guy who can eat innings when you get into a tournament setting is a valuable piece. So that makes a whole lot of sense, especially if the Nye kid, because you're right. He's an electric arm. If he's now back full bore, that makes Vandy a scary proposition as we get closer to Memorial Day.
Yeah. Well, let's go picks. I'm going to go Vandy because I think it's the better team and it's at home, but nothing would surprise me. I mean, Kentucky is used to fielding bunts and controlling the running game because they see it in practice every day. That's a little bit of Vandy's advantage over some other teams. Be interesting to see Ben Cleaver in game 3. I think Kentucky's got the pitching edge in that one. Cleaver is a Nashville area native too, which will be interesting. Give me Vandy, but I'm thinking we're going to see 3 pretty close games here, guys.
Yeah, that's how I see this playing out as well. Give me the Commodores 2 out of 3. Vandy's won 12 of the last 14 series against Kentucky, including 7 in a row at home in Nashville. So I just think Vanderbilt's better. I think they have the pitching edge every day except for game 3, like you said, Cleaver. I think Cleaver, we don't talk about him enough. He is quite the weapon to have for your third arm in the rotation. And then I just can't figure out Kentucky. Like, they get swept at Mississippi State, and then how do they respond? They come back home and they sweep a series last week. So I don't know. I can't figure them out, but I do know I do believe that Vanderbilt is the more all-around team, and they got more talent, and they're just a little bit better. So give me the Commodores 2 out of 3.
I completely agree that I think Vandy is a more complete team. And we all know that I'm parking the 45-me F-150 firmly in the camp of the Kentucky Wildcats to take 2 of 3. And all I got to do is split game 1 and game 2 because I've got a huge edge come Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, next up, we've got LSU at South Carolina. I'm going to ask the movie preacher's question again. Is there any reason
Good luck, Jay.
that we should –
Hey, I'm picking Missouri. I don't give a damn who they're playing. They could be playing the Dodgers. I'm picking Missouri.
Is there any reason we should separate LSU from a series win over South Carolina, which has just been awful lately?
Yeah, I kind of think the SEC office, like, they did this as kind of like a homecoming of sorts. Hey, Paul Maneri getting the coaching at LSU again. So I think when they made the schedule, this was kind of by design. Nobody envisioned South Carolina would be ending the season the way that they are. So yeah, give me LSU to take at least 2. I wouldn't be shocked at all if they sweep in Columbia.
I'm picking LSU. So Jay, it's your turn.
Don't
Jay, don't.
All right, this is a good time, and Chris and I talked about this. I don't know if you were in the conversation, Graham. That next year, if we're doing this again, we need to get bonus points for sweeps. Like,
how many points?
2 points for a series win. If you pick a sweep, you get 4 points, and if it hits, but if you pick a sweep and your team only wins the series, you only get 1 point. So there's still some risk and reward to it. But moving forward, you say I'm down 5, right?
You're about to be down more than that, aren't you?
LSU wins the series.
Oh, he couldn't do it.
Well, I think we differed on a couple of the ones earlier because I think he took Ole Miss and I took Auburn in the separate conversations. I think he took Arkansas and I took Tennessee in separate conversations. So I can't win a whole lot of lottery tickets and then give one back picking a South Carolina team where the lug nuts have complete. Honestly, this is, to go back to our Ricky Bobby theme, this is him driving like 25 miles an hour on turn 2, and he's going, I'm on fire. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. No, and he gets out and he runs around in his underwear. Nobody wants to see that. I mean, and then the Chair Bundy people cancel our subscription. And I mean, nobody, that's foolish.
I'm going to have to watch that again. It's been a long time. All right, let's take a deep breath and get it together. Okay, Mississippi State and Missouri. This one is suddenly way more intriguing than any of us would have guessed, because we saw Missouri with nothing to play for, with a team in Texas A&M with everything to play for. And this is the same thing with Mississippi State, guys. The pressure is on State here. There's no pressure on Missouri. Missouri has started to find some answers. Let me pull the roster up to make sure. Like, Ian Lose is a guy that's pitched well in the SEC before. Xavier Lovett did a great job of closing some stuff out in College Station. Brock Lucas has pitched a lot of ball. Will Libbert, a lefty, has been kind of tough lately. And then offensively, we never talk about Jackson Lovich, but he's quietly having like a low-key, maybe not first team, but
second team,
second or third team All-SEC kind of season. And then we got Mississippi State, which has been literally on fire since making a coaching change. But I do wonder a little bit, and look, State faced the pressure of a rivalry series at home last weekend and passed the test with flying colors against Ole Miss. But I do worry a little bit about a team that's played under pressure, playing a Missouri team now with nothing to lose. Now, State's offense has been really good lately. Ace Reese has been another of those guys that's a potential LSEC candidate that we don't talk enough about. He's been tremendous, got 17 home runs. Hunter Hines has been better the second half of the season, though Sullivan's been good all season. This is a lineup we probably don't talk enough about that's ended up being pretty good. And then Pico Cone on Friday night. There's that, too. That almost gets you a win by itself. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and give you my pick. I'm taking Mississippi State, and I'll probably take them to sweep, but last week threw us all a curveball.
Yes, it did. I'm taking State just because they need it more. If they sweep, which is a very realistic option on the table, they would be 15-15 in the SEC, and I think they would make the tournament at that point. So that's a big reason why I'm taking State. They need it more just to make the tournament. So give me the Bulldogs. And for Missouri, like, are they going to be content with what they did a week ago, or are they going to go back to what they've looked like the majority of the season? I do think State's offense is going to put up more runs than what A&M did. Like A&M, like their offense just didn't do much of anything at home last weekend. So just give me the Bulldogs on the road in Columbia. I think they will end up 15-15, and I think they will actually make the tournament.
Chris, your kind words to our two Missouri fans that regularly visit are noted, but I think last week was more about the Aggies than the Tigers.
Yeah.
So if I'm banking on picking against Graham in 6 of the 8 series, I can't give back the 2 gimmies that are on the schedule. And I mean, Mississippi State, even if you lose, if you lose the series, you're now need to get to the finals of the SEC tournament. New coach, laundry, all the things we've talked about that the selection committee is going to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the sweep of Kentucky, you lose 2 in Columbia with that RPI hit, it hurts.
Yeah.
And there's nobody in this series that is Pico Cone. So I got to take Mississippi State, even though I'm trying in every way, shape, or form to be the contrarian that I truly am in life, but I can't.
You did the right thing. I wouldn't have allowed you to pick Mizzou and South Carolina.
Who do you think you are, my wife? Well, you going to tell me what I can and cannot do?
I'm
Hold on a
trying
second.
to
My wife's
help.
calling.
I'm
Hold on.
trying to help you out. I'm trying to give you a chance.
I ain't got no chance, man. I'm Ricky Bobby. Come on.
Jay did bring up a good point. If State were to lose even a game, like that brings the schedule into focus. And by the way, D1 did a really good podcast with the chair of the committee, and he gave a little insight. I get the impression that they are going to look at unbalanced schedules in the league. Here's who Mississippi State avoided: Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. Two national seeds, or three teams I think all should be hosting right now. Also avoided A&M, which on what weekend you get A&M. Yeah, that could be the worst thing you want to play or the best thing, and then Vandy. So State losing to Missouri, even a game, I think that could be, if it's close on the bubble, and I think State is good enough to get in and deserving to get in. I think they are the caliber of a team that should be in the NCAA tournament regardless. But I'm just saying, keep an eye on that. Also forgot to mention the pitching matchups here, guys. Mississippi State is going Pico Cone, Evan Sierra, Carson Ligon in the order that has gone in and for several weekends now. Missouri is going to freshman Brady Kellenbrink, a lefty, and then TBA, which frankly is probably how they ought to play it. Save your best arms and use them for whatever situation calls for it. Okay, last one here, Texas at Oklahoma. Interesting series. Texas has been sliding a little bit. Oklahoma got swept last weekend, and Kyson Witherspoon didn't look quite as good. Oklahoma is now throwing let's see. Oklahoma will go Kyson Witherspoon, Cade Crossland, Malachi Witherspoon, which has been its order for roughly the last 3 or 4 weeks. And Texas is going Cade Bing. I've said, hey, I wonder if they're going to throw Cade Bing in the rotation. They did do that. Ruger Riojas in game 2, who really struggled last week. And Luke Harrison in game 3, guys. What do we think about Texas and Oklahoma?
I don't know. Like this one, I don't have a good read or feel for either of these teams right now, just because Texas, I still think they're trying to figure out life without Spencer. One thing that did catch my attention on the injury report, Max Ballou is probable.
Okay.
On the injury report. So that, like, if he does play,
probable.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
If he does play, like, you got to think that'll give Texas a shot in the arm. Oklahoma, like, their offense, they just haven't been able to score runs. So they haven't scored more than 5 runs in the month of May. Like, they've only done it once. Again, like I talk about it all the time. They scored 10 runs against Ole Miss and they won the series. Ole Miss scored 10 runs as well. Oklahoma scored 10 runs and they won the series. But the Sooners offensively, they've just been struggling. I'm going to lean Texas just because I think they got more firepower, mostly with their arms, though. Like, I just think they got way more options out of the bullpen and with their starting rotations. Like, Kyson Witherspoon's going to be awesome, but I just trust the Texas pitching more than I do Oklahoma at this point. I don't care where they play. I know Texas's offense hasn't been great. I know they've struggled on the road, but these two teams are very familiar with each other. They played each other, I think, over 200 times now in program history. So give me Texas. I think they'll take 2 out of 3.
All right, give me Oklahoma because I got Kyson Witherspoon and Graham picked Texas. And I'll also say, just a question for the group, all silliness aside, if Ballou is probable, I mean, do you do more than like just pinch hit that guy to just get him some, or DH or something where he gets a few ABs before the postseason rolls around? But I'm not hustling him back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would do the DH thing. That's what I would do, and then put him in bubble wrap.
Yeah. Man, Graham, you throw out some numbers that concern me. because I was leaning to picking Oklahoma. You know what? I'm going to do it. Give me the Sooners.
Shake and bake over there, buddy. Shake and bake.
Graham's
Now
laughing
this
all the
is
way to the
happening.
bank here.
Well, hey, you win by one game or you win by 40, you still just win. I mean,
Exactly.
Oh,
I don't
man.
I don't know, guys. Well, I mean,
This one's hard. This one's so hard.
I don't have a good feel.
Oklahoma's more desperate than Texas.
Yeah, and
Period.
that's kind of what I was thinking. I feel like Witherspoon in game one against Bing, that's, I know he didn't look as good last week. I feel like Oklahoma starts it 1-0. And Crossland's been hit and miss in game two. And Riojas, I'm just wondering, and he's thrown a lot of innings out of the pen, but man, as a starter, it's not gone well lately. And if you're Texas, you're already going to be a national seed. Do you, throw out all the stops to take the series? I don't know that you do with tournament play coming up. And all, meanwhile for Oklahoma, I mean, I guess Oklahoma's going to be a 2 either way. I mean, you sweep Texas, then maybe it's a conversation, but this is interesting. Texas just banks so much ahead of time.
Chris, about so many of these teams, we talk about the pressure tiers. How many of these teams will be scoreboard watching because Oklahoma has to pay attention to what Ole Miss does, and even how Alabama and Florida goes? Because I know nationally there are only 16 hosts for the regional, but the SEC is going to get a finite number of those teams regardless. And if Oklahoma sweeps but Florida sweeps, I mean, Ole Miss takes 2 of 3. It may not even matter. No matter how well you play, it may not be a game changer in the big picture of things.
Well, and there's also this. Texas does have a league title to play for, too.
Yeah, that's what I was about. I meant to mention that earlier. That's another reason why I'm taking Texas. They want it. Their first year in the SEC. They want to put that on a T-shirt somewhere.
Oh, stop talking about you're just front running and you're running the clock out. You're Dean Smith, 4 corners, 4.
Texas not had the most brutal of road schedules. I mean, Mississippi State, Missouri, Kentucky, Arkansas, now this. I mean, that's, other than Arkansas, those are all teams that are in the bottom half of our power rankings. So, yeah, no clue what we see here. I mean, there's a little bit of Texas is due to play better, potentially. What did you do?
I'm running the Norman Dale 4 passes before we shoot. I mean, he's running. Right. He's taking the air out of the ball.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm done. Any parting thoughts on the weekend before we leave?
It goes back fast.
Congratulations, Alfred, for passing me, and I'll finish last in the standings.
Well, you know what? We have fun with it either way. Man, the fun part of the season is ahead, guys. Postseason, I just think good NCAA tournament baseball is about as good a sporting event as we get.
Yeah. I enjoy it too. I know, Jay, your NCAA tournament basketball
and Masters.
Major championship golf is fun for me.
Yeah. But either way, it's a very underrated sport. The thing I like is just the strategy, because you're facing a different team every day, and that's what we're getting into. Is we're, so much of this is like, how's the team going to play it this weekend with postseason to play for and things ahead, and I just think the mind games and the strategy behind it are very interesting.
Well, do you like the format? Like, you play the whole season one way, and then the regionals is like a totally different format. Then you kind of go back to normal the rest of the way.
Yeah, I kind of do.
It's the only sport that does it like this.
That's true. Now, I do like the conference tournament better. I like the single elimination. Let's not wreck somebody's pitching staff before we get to the real stuff. So, yeah. All right, gentlemen, that's a wrap. We'll be wrapping up all these Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, so tune into our reaction. We'll have some bonus content for members. So join our membership only tier. That's only $3 a month. That helps us out. We will have probably a weekend wrap up. I haven't had time to think that far ahead. We're going to do an award show. Don't know if we'll do that Sunday night or Monday. Might do that Monday to give us a little bit more time. So we'll name all SEC teams and all that, have some fun with it. And then I'm planning to be down in Hoover for the first couple of days. Got some stuff going on here that I may need to work around, but I think it's going to work out. And we're just going to bring you wall-to-wall baseball the rest of the season because that's what we do. That's what we love to do here, and hope you guys enjoy hearing it as much as we enjoy covering it. For Jay Greason and Graham Doty, I'm Chris Lee of Southeastern 16. God bless you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.